Well, there's some promising news this morning in the fight against Alzheimer's disease. It involves the use of a pacemaker for the brain, the same device that has helped tens of thousands of patients with Parkinson's disease.
Dr. Paul Rosenberg is an Alzheimer's specialist at Johns Hopkins University. He is part of the first clinical trial of this treatment in the United States. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me how this works.
You put two wires in the brain, in a part of the brain that we know is involved in memory. The wires are attached to, it looks like a pacemaker. It's a little battery that fits under your shoulder blade, and it puts electricity through these wires. These wires run along the natural wires of the brain,
right,
which feed your memory, and they actually stimulate those parts of the brain.
Similar to what we're doing in deep brain stimulation with Parkinson's.
Exactly. The equipment is the same, the surgery is similar, it's just a different part of the brain. And it's based on what we know about memory circuits in the brain.
And what have the results been?
There was a pilot trial in Canada of 6 patients. They did somewhat better in terms of their memory. They did great in terms of their brain metabolism. In Alzheimer's disease, you usually go downhill, and in these folks, it actually increased a little bit.
Did you go for this approach because chemicals were not working, that those kinds of applications did not work for Alzheimer's?
I would say this can go along with the kinds of chemical treatments we're doing. Admittedly, this year we've had a number of disappointing results in drug trials, but we're not really done with that. The point is, this is a totally different mechanism. It might well go together with those.
Any negative effects for this at all?
There's small risks of surgery, but on the scale of neurosurgery...
The overall issue of surgery is infections, things like that.
Exactly.
How invasive is it? How expensive is it?
It's pretty expensive. I think it costs $50,000 to $100,000 for insurance. It's not that invasive. They drill a couple of holes in the skull, and they pass the wires in, and it's actually a lot less than you'd think it might be.
I know you say not that invasive, but drilling holes in the skull sounds pretty invasive to people.
It certainly is more radical than other things we've done.
It's available now for people who want to do this?
We're doing research on it, and the trial's up and running. We're looking for folks for this trial.
And when might it be available for people if, in fact, the trials turn to be as positive as you hope they will be?
Let me be cautiously optimistic. A few years down the line.
This is, Alzheimer's is growing in this country, and people are concerned that they don't have treatments for it.
It's an epidemic without the disease changing. It's an epidemic because we're aging and because it's largely a disease of aging.
Dr. Rosenberg, good to see you. Thank you very much. Very interesting.
Thanks.